Okay. So, multi-step equation word problem. So we've already done multi-step equations. What the difference is here is that they are going to be a word problem. So what we're going to have to do is identify the variable and create an equation for it and then solve. Okay? So the steps for doing that, the steps for solving, the first thing that we need to do is define a variable. You may need to define more than one variable, because sometimes we're going to be looking for 3 consecutive numbers, or we're going to be looking for dimes and nickels, or we're going to be looking for whatever. So there might be more than one thing that we're looking for. And the smallest, fewest, or least gets the single variable, and that will make more sense in just a minute. Then we write an equation. We might need to identify keywords to help us write the equation, like sum, or quotient, or difference, or things like that. Then we're going to solve the equation. If there is more than one thing that we're looking for, then we're going to have to substitute that answer to find other answers. Then we need to check to make sure it makes sense. If we're looking for the number of people and the answer is negative, does that make sense? No, we're not going to have a negative amount of people. Okay? So make sure that you're going to check to make sure your answer makes sense. Also, if it's asking for the sum of 3 numbers, maybe you should check to see if all 3 numbers add up to equal that sum. Okay? Okay, so our first question says, your computer repair bill was $225. $75 was for parts and $50 per hour was for labor. How many hours of labor were billed? So the first thing that we do is identify our variable. What am I looking for? Yes.
How many labor hours?
Yeah, hours of labor. Okay, so now I'm going to write my equation. Okay, so I have 25 per hour of labor, so we decided that labor hours was X, so we're going to do, or 50, I'm sorry, not 25. 50 times X, plus how much did I pay for parts? 75. And what is it going to equal? 225. Now we're going to follow our steps of solving. So I'm going to subtract my constant from both sides. So then 50 is going to 50x is going to equal 150. Then I'm going to divide by 50. So x is going to equal 3 hours. And then that would be my answer. I'm not looking for more than one variable, so I don't have to substitute anything in. You should be writing this down. Where are the notes? I have to remove them. Where are we? Then when I ask you to answer. Okay. So let's look at the next one. The perimeter of a rectangle is 64 centimeters. The length is 12 centimeters more than the width. Find the dimensions of the rectangle. So I'm looking for my variable. So I'm looking for the dimensions, right? But there's more than one set of dimensions. There's width and length. So I'm looking for my width and my length. According to my notes, the smallest is going to be the single variable. So my smallest is going to be the width because the length is 12 more than it. So my width is just going to be x. Okay? My length, though, is going to be x plus 12 or 12 plus x, however you want to do it. Because my length is 12 more than the width, x. So when we're looking for perimeter, we can do width plus length plus length, and that would equal my perimeter. So that's what I'm going to do, except for these are going to be my widths and lengths. So I have x plus x plus x plus 12 plus x plus 12, and what did my perimeter equal? 64. Now I'm going to combine like terms. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 x's, so that would be 4x, and I have 12 plus 12, which would be 24, equals 64. Then I'm going to subtract my constant. So I have 4x equals 40. Then I'm going to divide by 4. So x is going to equal 10. Am I done? No. No. Because I don't know my dimensions yet. My width is what? 10. But my length would be what? 22, because I'm doing 10 plus 12, which would be 22. Okay, so this is my answer. And we would probably want to put it in centimeters. Because these are word problems, we have to label our numbers if it provides that. Okie dokie. So let's look at our next one. So it says find 3 consecutive integers whose sum is negative 99. So I'm looking for 3 numbers. So I'm going to have a first number, a second number, and a third number. And these are consecutive integers. So if I had a number like 1, what would be the next number? 2. And what would I have to do to that number to get from 1 to 2? Add what? Add 1. So my first, it's going to be my small, so it's going to be just x. Okay? Then I'm going to do x plus 1. And then what would be my third integer? X plus 2. Okay? I'm going to add all 3 integers together. So my first integer is just x, plus my second integer, which is x plus 1, plus my third integer, which is x plus 2. And my sum was negative 99. Okay? Sorry. Okay. So now I'm going to add my 3 variables, or add my like terms. So I'm going to add x plus x plus x, which would be, and 1 plus 2. Now I'm going to subtract my constant. So 3x is going to equal negative 102. Then I'm going to divide by 3. So x is going to equal 50 or 34. Yes, 34. Negative 34. Okay, so my first number is going to be negative 34. What is my second number going to be? Negative 33, because I'm adding 1. And then my third number, negative 32, because I'm adding 2 to 34. Okay? Okay, let's check to make sure this makes sense. Are these 3 consecutive integers?
Yes.
Yes. Do they add up to negative 99? Yes. Okay, so this one we have 3 consecutive even integers whose sum is 168. So it's very similar to beforehand. So I'm going to still have a first number, I'm still going to have a second number, and I'm still going to have a third number. My first number is still going to be my smallest, so we're still going to identify it as x. But my second number, in order to get from 2 to 4, which would be my next even integer, I would have to add 2. So I'm going to have x plus 2. In order to get from 2 to 6, I would have to add 4. Let's say there was a fourth one here that we were looking for. What would we be adding? 6. All right, because on your homework you have one like that. So now I'm going to add, because we said sum, my three integers together. My first integer is x. My second integer is represented by x plus 2. And my third integer is x plus 4. And it's going to equal 168. So these are my three numbers that I identified. Now I'm going to combine like terms. So what is x plus x plus x?
38.
And 2 plus 4? Okay, I'm going to subtract my constant. I get 3x equals 162. Divide by 3, and what does my x equal? 4. But that's not done yet. I don't know why I circled it. Okay, so my first number is 54. However, what is my second number going to be?
56.
56. And my third number?
58.
Are these all even?
Yes.
Are they consecutive even integers?
Yeah.
Yes. Do they add up to 168?
Yes.
Yes. So that's what it means by check your answer to make sure it makes sense. Because there's, if these were odd, would that make sense? No. If it was asking for odd, then yes, we would want to know that. Okay. Okay, you have 46 dimes and quarters that total $6.70. How many of each do you have? So I'm looking for dimes and quarters. So my dimes are my smaller amount, so that's going to be my single variable. And what do dimes equal in money? 10 cents. So I'm going to do 0.10. Okay? And I have 46 dimes and quarters. So if I were to take away my dimes from the quarters, how could I figure out quarters? So I have 46, and I'm going to subtract my dimes, my x. Okay? And what do quarters represent? 25 or 0.25. Okay. I just want to make sure I have all my information down. So now I can create my problem. Okay? So normally we would just add our two things together, but we're looking for a total in money, and they give us information that isn't in money. So that's why I had to identify what my dollar amounts would be. So I'm going to take my 0.1 and I'm going to times it by my dimes. And then I'm going to add my 0.25 and I'm going to times it by my quarters, which is 46 minus x. And that's going to give me my $6.70. Okay? I know. Don't worry. We're doing a second day on this lesson, so it's going to be all right. All right. So I'm going to multiply 0.1 times x, and that will be 0.1x. Now I need to distribute my 0.25. 0.25 times 46 would be 11.5. 0.25 times negative x would be a negative 0.25x equals 670. Okay, now I need to combine like terms. So I would like for everybody in their calculator to do this. 0.1 minus 0.25. Because that will give me my dimes, or my x. Which I should get negative, 0.15x plus 11.5 equals 6.70. So now I'm going to subtract my constant. So this would also be something that's good if you guys did in your calculator, because then you can divide easily. So type in 6.7 minus 11.5. You should get negative 4.8. Before you delete or get rid of, you want to just keep that in there because you're going to have to divide by negative 0.15. So you hit that divide button, then type in 0.15 negative, and we should get x equals 32. You should be 32, not point. Okay, I thought it said 0.12. Point.
3.2.
It should. Oh, you didn't. You typed in 1.5, not 0.15. All right. So, am I done? No, I identified how many dimes I have. Dimes, I have 32, but I'm looking for how many quarters I also have. How many quarters do I have? What am I doing? My x equals
46 minus.
Yeah, 46 minus 32. What is 46 minus 32? 15. No, 14. 14. So I have 32 dimes and 14 quarters. Okay? We'll get plenty of practice. Okay, let's do the next slide. The next slide is very similar to this one, except for we don't have dimes and quarters. We have books. You bought 8 books for $44. Paperback books are $4 each, and hardback books are $8 each. How many of each book did you buy? So I'm still looking for how many of the books. So I'm going to be looking for paperback books and hardback books. My paperback books are the least amount of money, right? So that's going to be identified as my variable, my single variable, x. Get off your phone. Then my hardback books, remember how before we took our total and we subtracted by the variable? So what would I do here? I have a total of 8 books. So I'm going to do 8 minus x, because that will tell me how many hardback books, because I have a total of 8 books. If paper is represented by x, and I were to subtract x from 8, that would tell me how many hardback books I have. Now, my paperback books are worth $4, and my hardback books are worth $8. That comes into play because we only have a total in dollar amount, so we need to create the same equation. So I'm going to have 4 times x plus 8 times 8 minus x, and that's going to equal 44. Okay? So I need to distribute. So what's 8 times 8? And 8 times negative x? Negative 8x. Once you distribute, that 8 goes away. Okay, so now I'm going to subtract, I'm going to take 4x and I'm going to minus 8x because I'm combining like terms. And I'll get a negative 4x. Then I'm going to subtract my constant, 64, from both sides. So I'm going to get negative 4x equals negative 20. Then I'm going to divide by negative 4. So x will equal 5. Am I done? No, just because we find x doesn't mean that it's over. Okay, my paperback books, how many paperback books do I have? 5. And then, so how many hardback books do I have? 3, because I did 8 minus 5. Okay. So 3 wrestlers weigh 163 pounds, 148 pounds, and 143 pounds. What must a 4th wrestler weigh for their average weight to be 150 pounds? Okay, so the first thing that we need to do is identify our variable. So what am I looking for? The 4th wrestler. Because we have the average, we have 3 wrestlers, but it's looking for the 4th wrestler's weight. And it says that we have an average. To find average, you add up all of your numbers and you divide by how many there are. So I'm going to add 163 plus 148 plus 143, and we're representing our 4th person as x. These are all going to be divided by 4 because there's 4 numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's going to equal my average, which is 150. I'm going to combine like terms. So what's 163 plus 148 plus 144? Yes. I'm going to eliminate my fraction by multiplying by 4. So my 4's over here cancel out. So then I have 454 plus x equals 600. Okay? Then I'm going to subtract 454 from both sides. And what is my x going to equal? $146 pounds. So my 4th wrestler weighs 146 pounds. And there was nothing else that I needed to find, so I don't need to substitute anything back into the equation.